Hi, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt, and we are doing our CBO technical assistance call. I'm glad to see a whole lot of people are here. We're going to get right underway because I want to try and keep this one on 30 minutes. All right? So I'm going to turn this over to Olivia and let her discuss her the dashboard items. So Olivia, if you want to pull your screen over.
All righty. Dee, is that displaying the correct, do you see the dashboard?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everybody. I hope you're all doing well today. We're just going to quickly run through the enrolled dashboard again. There's just a couple areas that I want to point out that I will be getting in contact with you guys if I see any customers that are kind of out of place or anything. The main areas that I'm going to be looking at and contacting people about is this first row here, referral pending, appointment has not been scheduled. Right now you guys are seeing statewide numbers. This is everybody, all 5 regions. If you guys look at your own enrolled dashboard, you're only going to be seeing the numbers for the customers that you guys have. So these numbers will probably be a lot different for you guys. So right now we have 9 customers that do not have appointments scheduled. We're working on a fix for this because if you cancel out your customer's appointment, if they don't show up, then they're going to be stuck right here. And we're trying to make a fix for that. So if they don't show up and you upload the 2151 with no contact and they go into the conciliation process, then they're going to jump down here to this one instead of being stuck at appointment has not been scheduled. And then the next row that we're looking at, and this is kind of the big one, is referral pending needs 2151. So after their appointment date has passed, a 2151 needs to be uploaded. It can either be uploaded as no contact from client if they did not show up to that appointment, and if they did show up, then you can upload it as assessment completed, services initiated. I know some CBOs have a couple of steps they go through before they completely enroll the customer in that process, but we need to at least get that uploaded with assessment completed just so we know they did come in and they're on the path to being enrolled. And the next one that we look at is the referral pending 2151 past due. It's kind of the same thing. This is after a period of time has gone by and there's still no 2151 uploaded. These are the customers that really need to have that uploaded as soon as possible. And then down here you'll see the referral pending, no contact from customers, recommend conciliation, and referral rejected. These are 2 areas that we're going to be contacting DHS about. Those are customers that are going to go back to them. So if you do have anybody in referral rejected, usually we do a conciliation instead of just rejecting them. So I may be getting in contact with you about putting your customer through the conciliation process instead of rejecting them, because then it'll go back to DHS and then they can be realigned with a training program that may be more suitable for them. And then if we scroll down a little bit, another area, I know today is only the 3rd, but between the 1st and the 5th of every month, we have to upload that 2151A form. And this was 123 this morning, so we've got 30 or 40 some people who have uploaded that already. So we have until Friday to get the 2151A form uploaded for all of your customers, just showing their progress. And so those are the main areas of the dashboard that I'm going to be contacting everybody about. And then if anybody's in a situation worse, which they're not, so that's really good, I may be contacting you as well to figure out what's going on if I can't figure it out within the case notes as well. So those are the areas of the dashboard that I'm going to be contacting you about. So if I do contact you, it is just to get one of your customers back on track because they may be not displaying correctly or communication may not have went through to DHS, then we just want to make sure that the customer is with whoever they need to be with, whether that's with you guys or going back to DHS. So if I do give you a call, try to get back to me as soon as possible so we can go ahead and get them all figured out and situated and keep them moving forward on the correct path. So that is all I have for the enrolled dashboard. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I don't see anybody typing, so that's good. That means everybody understands.
You know, the great part of this is at this point is we do have quite a few that are enrolled, and you know, between the enrolled percentage and then those for scheduling percentages are, you know, that's a pretty decent percentage. Our percentage for the conciliation is at 10%, which really isn't too bad. It'd be great if we can keep it at that for this entire project. So, I mean, that's, you know, at this point, I think our dashboard's looking good. We just need to make sure that we're very proactive with it and entering information because, like I said, this is something that we use as a management tool, and that this is where we provide information to our management related to the program.
Great. All right, I'm going to move on with the agenda. Training program descriptions, all I really want there is if there is information that the customer needs to know, that we have those in those training program descriptions. How long the time period is, all of those kind of things. You guys have been doing this for a long enough period of time that you probably really understand what we need, but we need to be able to sell that program. So if your description is pretty vague, we just need those updated. And then one of the things, and I want to show you this, so I'm going to bring my screen over. There is, on the program applications, we have the new, let me make my screen a little bit bigger here. We have the new questions for the application 1, and we have the old questions for the application 1. So on the training programs, when we're looking at the information for the training programs, and it looks like it's feeding here a little bit slowly, we have the old question with the drug test and the old question with the CBOs. So what we need to do, and I need all of you to go in and look at your programs, under the drug test question. So if a drug test, so write this question right here, which of these tests are participants required to pass? If the drug test question was answered here, then we also need to have a drug test question here. So it must maybe say, must be willing to make changes to be able to pass a drug test, or one of those answers. So if you were requiring a drug test on the initial question for application 1, then you have to have a similar response for application 2, which is the new question. And then the same thing with what kind of background check is required. Here it said NA, so what we should have checked here is background check is not required for this training/career path. They need to coordinate as much as possible. And Carmen says you cannot edit your schedule. We'll take a look at that offline, if that's okay, Carmen. I have not heard of any other people having problems with their schedule, so let me have either myself or Olivia get in touch with you after the webinar. Okay. All right, let me minimize here just a little bit so I can see what's next on the agenda. Okay, we want to talk about the staffing procedure. And this is primarily a Cook County Region 1 sort of event, but you may want to look at those things, look at this process so that you might want to maybe implement it yourself. Especially if you're in a mandatory area, it is not required anywhere except for Region 1, but the staffing process is in the file pod, and it's also on the restricted resources here, so that if you want to look at the staffing process to see it, I'm going to pop it open here real quick. I just realized I need to fix that. What is going to happen is after the staffing, I would suggest that initial staffing take place face-to-face. After that, you can do it by phone or by webinar. Just make sure that you're communicating. You can each go to the same portion of a customer's file on the screen and be looking at case notes, et cetera. We are asking that the DHS staff person upload a file back to the CBO's upload portion, and then that the CBO follow up on any of the staffing comments. So that is a nice tool. The DHS staff will be able to DHS staff will be able to upload those comments back. Olivia, did you get a date from Cody about when that will be available?
No, I did not. He is working on a couple other updates, and then he's going to get to that one.
Okay, so we will let you know with a message or an update about when that will be available. And Sherlonda, we'll get to your question in a minute. Okay, and then let's go. I need to check my list again here. Exit status. I want to show you what we are working on for exit status on customers. So let me go to an enrolled dashboard here, click on a person that is active, and we'll get to a progress page. So we're going to look at B. And this is the new look that is going to be happening on the progress page. We cleaned it up just a little bit so that everything isn't all that confusing. So first of all, we have the contact information you can show or hide. You can also go through the initial CBO appointment and the 2151 upload here. And this is where that information would be. And remember, if you download the 2151, have it automatically open up to Adobe Reader. So if I download this form right now and it downloads into my download tray, I can right-click it and have it automatically open. I can select an option to have it automatically open in Adobe Reader. Otherwise, any changes that you make will not be effective and held in the process. So I know I was talking with Olivia. She spent an hour and a half one day this past week working with a CBO to make sure that they could get this all working the right way. All right, I'm going to minimize this. Under the training program enrollment, once they have gone through the 2151, we need to get them enrolled and into which program. Then we have exit information. So this is the new process. We have a couple of options here. We have not exited, successful completion, and unsuccessful completion. So if you have the not exited option selected, you will not be able to click in any of the other items. If you pick successful completion, you have the option of saying enlisted in military, enrolled in training, hired by an employer. If you click the unsuccessful completion, you have the options incarcerated, not SNAP eligible, moved out of state or region, dropped out of program, withdrew from study. And for both of those items, you would enter a date. So if you pick successful completion and select hired by employer and the date, it will ask you to upload a 2151 and take you straight to that area where it will ask you to add the information. And that will potentially include the employer's information if you have that, if you know where they were hired and enter that information. That will be very useful. Now, as far as follow-up goes, you will need to continue entering a 2151A for the 90-day follow-up period. And we will put all of that information and some screenshots in here into directions and share those out with you by email as soon as they become available, and we will post them also on the resources page in the partner resources. So we talked about exit status. Tammy, you're up with cash requests. Do you need to share your screen?
No, I don't. And I just put it in the good news. We did get the rollover complete, so you can request cash now again and report cost. We're going to be looking, obviously, at your cost, and we're going to be shifting here soon from, because we had startup costs. So if you have not requested any cash for your startup cost, and pretty much all the way through June, go ahead and get that information in. And then we're going to be transitioning to a reimbursement basis then to look at your costs and see what your costs are compared to your cash. And then, I know that quite a few of you still don't have, clients or a lot of clients. They will be coming in. We have, I think, 2,500 is a goal for the entire program, and I think Chicago has 1,800 to be transmitted to the CBOs. So they will be coming through. And I know, like I said, some of you may not have any or just a very few, so your performance and your costs are not in line right now, and that's to be anticipated. Once the clients start coming to you more, frequently, these will line up, in sync as we go. And we'll be taking a look at that probably within the next, 2 months or 3 months and see where people are. If we have organizations that, are getting a lot of clients, we're going to start looking at that too, because we only funded you guys at 50% of your budget request. So we'll start looking at where we are with production, and then if we need to start doing modifications to budget to increase, budgets too, based upon the referral process and performance. So that's good news with that. And then you guys, I think everybody received an email today from Emily and Brittany with Mathematica, and this has to do with a cost study. So as we discussed last week, they set up some preliminary templates in that for you guys. Now, you can do some adjustments, and you can talk with them if you need to adjust what those preliminary templates look like. But next Wednesday, I had asked them again to be on the phone with us on a Wednesday webinar. So take a look at that document, get your questions together for that, and then any questions that you have, we can present those to them again on Wednesday. Also, they are approachable. You can reach out to them directly if you have specific questions on how to complete that. But everybody received those today from Mathematica, and they're due within 30 days. So I just want you to keep that on the forefront, that that's something that we need to get done. And once we do it for the first time, it should be hopefully relatively easy for the next quarters, because it's just a matter of changing information. So if you have any questions on that, like I said, once again, collect your questions, and then next Wednesday we'll have them on to respond to anything that you have on questions with that. But besides that, we're trugging along there. We are working, and Dee's been working tremendously on this decentralization. We are going to be moving offices. Dee's actually starting Friday, and then next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for Chicago. I think this is going to help tremendously also, because we're going to have more capacity. We're going to have, instead of 30 computers for doing orientations, we'll have 60. There's going to be 10 in each of the 6 sites. And then it's going to be where the clients are. And so it's going to be, I think, much easier to access clients with this decentralization. There will be probably about a 2-week lull period in this referral process because of the decentralization. And then we have training that we have to offer for these the offices. So there's training schedules we're putting together for the DH staff on this. And Dee, do you want to comment anything on that?
Well, I'm going to be working some long hours the next few days. But I'm excited because I think this process is really going to help open up the availability for people not to have to go to 59th Street. Not that that's a bad thing, not a bad place, but it's one place. And so transportation could be difficult, as we know, for many of the other areas. So if the office is closer to where they live, we might get better participation that way as well.
So, and I know in Chicago, I know Emily had a question regarding the staffing. Chris McMorrow is meeting with every CBO in the Chicago area for a face-to-face, at least for the first time. So he is coordinating that, and then we receive information as far as the progress of that meeting and what the status is of the clients. And then DHS staff will be uploading. That's one of the things they're working on, is that's the upload, to be able to upload that into the CBO's file area. So that way it's an open communication between DHS and the CBOs, and they can keep on track of what needs to be done with these clients. And that should, I'm hoping within the next week or two, that will be put in place. So that information that you guys discuss in those staffing meetings will be also available in the system. So with that, what else do we have on our agenda?
We have DGR.
Yes. Okay, DGR. I received reports, not from everybody, and everybody didn't necessarily name their files the way it asked to. The funny part is I sent out this nice long email, and I put a little thing at the end saying, if you read this part of it, send it back to me, and nobody sent it back to me. So obviously nobody got to the end of the email. But I do need Albany Park, and I still need your reports. I need Heartland Human Care Services. I need Phalanx, and I need Tri-County Urban League's DGR and trial balance reports. I'm in the process of, obviously going through all of these and uploading into our system. So it's very important that we get these reports in. I only have 5 days to get these uploaded, and then there's like a nastygram that kind of comes out automatically from our system that says your report's delinquent if I don't get these up and loaded in our system. So, and if I called you guys out and you sent it to me and I've missed it, I'm so sorry. I get a lot of emails, and so you just re-forward it to me if you did send it and I just missed it. So I do need to get those in so we can get those up and loaded. That will be a quarterly report. One of the things that I'd requested from Mathematica with a cost study is if we can get that on the same cycle. So the cost study and our DGR reporting is, due at the same time, so we don't have reports all over the place that are due. And then the other thing is we do have this new GATA system, which I've talked about, endlessly, and that will change our report structure. We don't have the guidelines for that out yet, but I would anticipate next quarter you're not going to have this report. It's going to look a little different because it will be based upon the GATA guidelines. So, but thank you guys. I will be working with you guys individually if there's information missing or if there's, I noticed some came in unsigned. We have to have them signed by authorized signator. So some of them didn't have their budgets in the budget area, so I'll be working with each of you guys individually on areas that need to be corrected.
All right. Anything else on that?
Nope, I think that'll do it.
Okay. All right, so then the reverse referrals. I know, Tammy, that was on your list.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to bring my screen over just so that I can show you guys that we do have a process and procedure in place. It is available from the EPIC full list of resources. It's right here listed under CBO, and there is a PDF that you can follow the procedure. We do suggest that you use a 2151 and fill out the areas that are listed and circled in red with the information that is here. We did cover this on last week's webinar in great detail. So if you need to go back and watch last week's webinar, it has all of the information there. Now, Tammy probably has some suggestions about how to go about doing this. So, Tammy,
yeah, and
Dee,
could you pull up the flyer that we have also? What I would recommend too is it's the and we can adjust this or provide the capacity for you guys to adjust this, because once these offices, especially in Chicago, are decentralized, you're going to be sending clients to offices that I would anticipate are close to your location or close to the client's location, wherever their DHS caseworkers are. So if you have somebody come in to your office, I know I've communicated with a few that they said, we've got clients that would be perfect for this project. How can they have the opportunity to potentially get in here? first thing to remember is it is a study, so even if you refer them, there's an opportunity that they won't get back into it. There's a 50-50 chance. So if you want to go down to this is a good, I would get a bunch of these printed out from the resource page, and we will either change it or make it available so that we can change the address. And I think what we need to probably do is make that a little bit more significant, make that bigger so we can they can see this is the address of offices, or maybe we'll put all 3 northern offices. This is the addresses of the office in the northern regions, and this is the address of the southern region offices that you can go to, and take this flyer and take that. What was the form again? The other one that were
the 2151.
2151. Thank you. There's so many forms flying around. They take that with them too, and say this is what I'm interested in, and they can get into the orientation. And I said once again, they can sit in the orientation. There's no guarantee they get an EPIC, but if nothing else, maybe at least they can get into the regular SNAP ENT program also and services provided. So we strongly recommend the things that you need to make sure that they're not on TANF. They cannot be TANF participants. Our primary target is ABOD, which is able bodies without dependent children, but we can definitely serve somebody that comes in that's maybe disabled, or somebody that has children in the household that are not receiving TANF. But the problem is, we have to make sure that, we're not serving any TANF recipients. And if they go on TANF, then they're no longer eligible for this program either. So we strongly, this is one of our tools that we're using. And Dee's, working diligently on this too, on putting our outreach plan together. And you guys are a great resource, and you guys know the people. So, if you have people that you can send to the DHS office and with this information, and they can request to be in the orientation, please do so, because we definitely need to get our numbers going. And we want to get these people back to you, as many as we can also. So the other thing is, you may send them, if, say you're an organization that does manufacturing, and you may send them and they start looking at other opportunities, and they decide they want to do, TDL or something. There's a possibility they may select a different sector too, the client could, because it's driven by the client's, right fit. But, this is one of our things we're going to start really reinforcing and pushing, is for those reverse referrals from you guys also. And Dee, do you want to add anything else on that?
I'm good with the reverse referrals. The one thing that you really and truly have to stress is no TANF, and no, and that it's a 50-50 chance of them getting into the program. When they get to an office, a DHS office, their case number has a number associated with it that will tell the caseworker at DHS whether or not they are a TANF recipient. So that is crucial, so that you're not wasting somebody's time, to make sure that they understand that if there is a TANF check that comes to their address, that they will not be allowed into the program. It's as simple as that. So don't, and thanks, Chris, it's an 04, but they won't know, the CBO won't know what their DHS case number is unless they ask them and the person memorizes it, which I doubt that's going to happen. So also for the CBOs, I would like you to see that we have a flyer here. This is to reach out to the employers. And we also have another one. Let me open this one up. So we have 2 choices for you to do outreach to employers. You're welcome to use those. Use these to reach out to employers in your area to help get these customers employed. That's all there is to it. So use this. We do need to update this. I just realized that this one has a logo on it that we're not using any longer. So I will make sure that those are updated and on the system. And
obviously the best way to guarantee placement is to have those employer relationships, and a lot of you do. I mean, that's the great part, is having the employers at the table at the start of this to make sure that we do have placement for these individuals. So, and that's one of the other areas that we're looking at, and we're probably going to start pulling in our regional reps with Commerce to assist on the economic development employer side of the EPIC project.
All right. Let's go to questions about ICE. Okay, so now we've got some people that checked in that they need information about progress page enrollment, exit status, I-STEP, payroll, uploads, and conciliation. Did we answer? If you have a question about the progress page, please type it into the chat pod now. Or if we already addressed it, say, let me know that we already addressed it.
And the work experience component is still on its way. I know that they've got the ability for you to put in the wages, I do believe. Am I correct on that, Olivia and Dee?
Not yet. The wages are coming.
Okay.
The other thing, all right, so I don't see anybody typing about the progress page. What about enrollment? Do you have a question about enrollment? If you do, please type that out.
I have something I want to say about the 2151 form when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So for the 2151 form, the issue that I've been seeing a lot with that displaying as not being uploaded is that, I'm just going to pull my screen over really quick.
Sure.
So whenever the 2151 form is uploaded, there's two different buttons that you can click. I should go into test really quick. And one of them is uploading an electronic copy, and the other one is uploading a paper copy. The reason that we provide the paper copy is for signatures, or if there's any other notations that you want to make on there. We just want to make sure that we're getting everything we need. But for the customers to flow through the system, you have to upload the 2151 form with this green button right here. You download it, and then you will open it up in Adobe and fill it out and save it, and then upload it again with this green button. A lot of some of the CBOs, not a lot, are using this button, and it will upload the 2151, but it won't trip the sensors that help the customers flow through the dashboard, so they'll get stuck. And the same thing goes for the upload here. When you upload the 2151A, you need to upload it with this form, and this is what you can use if you need to upload any conciliation documents or anything like that. That's all.
Great. All right. All right, so now, did somebody have a question that we didn't answer about exit status or I-STEP? Payroll we still can't upload, but we do have the sheets available for you so that you can figure it out. Just save them because we will give you the ability to upload them at a point in time. And then do we have a question about uploads? I don't see anybody typing, so I'm hoping that you're still hearing me. And then if you have a question about conciliation. All right, I'm going to go back into the chat pod. Olivia, can you make a note to call Carmen, please?
Yeah.
And just for your information, our evaluation team is out in the field this week. They had interviews with Commerce staff and DHS staff and WorkNet, and then they're having agency staff meetings to just collect the information just on the preliminary progress of this. They're doing an interview now. They'll do one a year from now, and then another one 2 years from now. So I really appreciate the agencies. We enlisted a couple agencies to help us with this process, and I really appreciate you guys taking your time to meet with these staff and give them honest feedback of what's going on and where we're at with the program. And then I know our F&S liaison is going to be getting out in the field here soon, too. But then Commerce is also going to start doing some technical assistance site visits. I think the best way to know what's going on is to actually be in the field and talking with you guys and seeing what, how things are moving. So we're going to start scheduling site visits for all of the agencies just on the technical assistance side. And then we are going to have monitoring visits, but that's going to be, a little bit yet. It could be, another 6 to 8 months before we start doing monitoring visits. But I just wanted to let you know that we're going to start getting in the field and just, communicating with you guys and seeing how things are moving and rolling.
Nellie, there are instructions in the conciliation report, and it tells you exactly which boxes you need to check. So if you want to go to, sorry, Tammy, I don't even know if you were done.
Oh, no, I was done. You're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
If you go to the restricted resources, the conciliation directions, sorry this is taking so long to load. The conciliation directions are here. You do need to mark based on, why is this not coming up? You do need to mark based on the directions that are there, and I apologize, it's just not coming up right now. All right, and then we have a question from Eric.
Yeah, and Eric, it is when they are considered to be enrolled in your program. It doesn't necessarily have to be a seat time in a class. Once they're enrolled, you guys have a requirement of engaging them for 20 hours a week. So they could be doing work readiness. They could be in work experience. They could be in, a bridge program, ABE, or a career and technical education. So there's multiple services that you guys are providing besides just like seat time in a training program. So yes, once you accept them, once you show them enrolled in our dashboard, that is when they are considered enrolled.
All right. And for the decentralization, I am tearing down a big part of the lab at 59th Street on Friday, and I will begin setting up at Cottage Grove on the morning of the 8th. Tammy will be joining me. We'll do 119th. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will do the 3 northern offices, which is North Avenue, Humboldt Park. I forget the names of them, but Humboldt Park.
Western and Northwest.
Northwest, okay. So we'll be doing those 3 offices on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We will get some training in, hopefully the following week, the 15th through the 19th. So there will probably be a lull period, except for 59th Street, because they'll still be operational after, from the 8th through maybe the 26th. Your referrals from Chicago may be a little light. But then after that, you should start seeing them compiling in, we hope. Compiling in.
And I got an email from Kelsey asking about case management and what needs to be included in case notes and what shouldn't be included in case notes. For the case notes, Kelsey, you can include almost all of the information in there. If the customer misses their appointment, you can go ahead and notate that in there. If you have any issues with the customer, you can put that in there. The whole purpose of the case notes is to make sure that we have all the information we need on that customer. So if for any reason they have to go to conciliation or anything like that, we have all the information leading up to the event. So the purpose of that is just to make sure we have all the possible documentation we can have, and that communication between the CBOs and DHS, along with the WorkNet staff keeping all this going, is flowing smoothly so we all can kind of stay on top of everything and know what's going on with each of the customers. Dee, do you have anything to add about case notes?
No.
This is Tammy. I'd just like to add, make sure they're just productive and constructive case notes. You don't want to put any, personal opinions, I guess, to any degree, but just make sure they're very, very productive and constructive so we understand what's going on with the client.
And to answer Nellie's question, on page 3 of the conciliation process, these are the directions that you need to follow and what you need to check and what you need to enter.
I actually worked with Nellie today on that, and it says if the person attends the case note, mark them as back on track, but that's not an option on the 2151A.
Oh. Mark.
And that's what,
It would be acceptable progress.
Okay.
So we'll make a modification to these
I
directions.
can update that.
Okay. And then update it in the system?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll get that rolling. Anything else that we need to talk about before we end our webinar today? We're over, but we're not over so bad, so.
Like I said, again, we appreciate all of you guys' work. This is a huge project, and it's being, it's a nationally watched project. And so what we are doing could definitely have a significant impact on SNAP ENT, in the future. So, I mean, just keep working hard at this. This is very significant. So we definitely want you guys to, keep this at the forefront.
Great. All right. I do see Cheryl typing. I don't know if she's typing us a question or not. If you do have, last thing I want to say is in the list, we will always keep the most current CBO contact list in the file pod. So I need you guys to check it on a regular basis so that I have the primary contact for the EPIC program and that I have current email addresses and I'm just going to call you out right now. Ron Ruffin, I need a good email address for you because what I tried to send you didn't go through. So I need everybody to check their email addresses. I need a direct extension for you on the phone numbers, and I need those updated on a regular basis. So we will keep the most current copy in the file pod.
And then for Cheryl's question, they are not enrolled in your program until you have, physically met with them, done your assessments, and accepted them into your program and started working with them. So enrollment is considered the point where they're your clients, and you are doing the 20 hours a week service to them. If they don't show up, then what they need to be done is put in conciliation and sent back to DHS. If they're not there for an appointment. So enrollment is when you are actively working with these clients to get them, to self-sufficiency.
All right. All right, I'm cutting us off.
Okay, I think we're good.
Have a great rest of your day. And if you want to join us for the Friday DHS webinar, it is EPIC TA. Just like you log in here, it's just EPIC TA at the end. So have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.